Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wafa Abdallah, and I was born in November 1963. In my presentation, I will talk about the history of what went on in November 1963. Average income per year was $5,807.00. Price per gallon of gas was 29 cents. Average cost of a new car was $3,233.00. Cost of a loaf of bread was 22 cents. Cost of a bedroom air conditioner was $149.95. November 1963 was a great year for Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. The battle for civil rights was still raging on. There was also sad and history that went on in the news of the assassination of the U.S. President John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated on November 22nd in Dealey Plaza, Dallas, Texas. Also in November 1963, the first episode of the BBC television series Doctor Who is broadcast in the UK. Because of the whole worldwide attention focused on the previous day's events, the episode is repeated for the following week. 1963 in November, viewers tuned into NBC to witness Jack Ruby shoot the man who killed John F. Kennedy, Lee Harvey Oswald, on camera, the first live telecast of a murder. 1963 November, the Vietnam War coup leader Duong Van Minh takes over as leader of South Vietnam after assassination of the South Vietnamese president. 1963 November, many Americans were not happy with what went on in Vietnam, and many were against of the United States, of all the soldiers that were there, and they really did not agree. Events that happened in November 1963, Beatlemania was in full force with a single called I Want to Hold Your Hand. The Beatles were number one. Their hit made number one on the charts in the US and in the UK. 1963 November, elections in South Korea resulted in a victory for the Democratic Republican Party. The Declaration on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination is adopted by the United Nations General Assembly. Other great things that went on for the telephone companies: the first push-button telephone is made available to AT&T customers. November 1963, Trans-Canada Airlines Flight 831, a Douglas DC-8 carrying 118 people, crashes into a wooded hillside after taking off from the Dorval International Airport near Montreal, killing all on board. It was the worst air disaster for many years in the Canadians' history. A sad time in 1963. Also, in November 1963, elections in Greece result in a narrow victory for a central union led by the Georgios Papandreou. November 1963 also brought the first preview of Hello, Dolly takes place at the Great Fisher Theater in Detroit. November 16, 1963, a newspaper strike begins in Toledo, Ohio, USA. Also in November 1963, in Germany, 11 miners are rescued from a collapsed mine after 14 days. Great things sad things, and amazing prices went on in 1963. I thank you for listening to my history in the month and the year that I was born in. And that is the history and events that happened in November 1963. And thank you.